So broadly, sustainability is creating a balance, and ESG is a tool or a framework to measure the impact of the balance created. Hi guys, hello to all my eco sprouts. Welcome back to Gen Sustainable. If you're new here, Gen Sustainable is a place where we talk everything about corporate sustainability, ESG, and climate change. So if you're a corporate junkie thinking are all the sustainability buzzwords about, or if you're a young professional trying to break into ESG and sustainability domain and want to know some tips and tricks, or if you're just someone curious about sustainability and sustainable lifestyle, there is something in store for all of y'all. So watch this video till the end and subscribe to my channel. So let's get started. So in today's video, I am going to discuss one very simple question, but this question is asked to me most of the times, and that is, what is the difference between ESG and sustainability? So can we use these terms interchangeably? Are there any differences between the two, or are there any similarities between the two? Well, this is a very basic interview question that can be asked to y'all anytime, but it is a little difficult to answer this question sometimes. So let's get deep dived into these two concepts today and understand the similarity and differences and the interchangeability of ESG and sustainability. So first, let's understand what is sustainability. So the most simplest definition of sustainability was given by the report called Our Common Future, which is also known as the Burnt Land Commission report, which was published in the October of 1987. Now this report defines sustainability as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs, which simply means that you live a happy and fulfilled life and you have all the resources with you to fulfill all your needs. But while doing this, you are also careful that you do not finish all of these resources, and enough amount of resources are still remaining for your next generation to fulfill their own needs. This is simply what sustainability means. Now, this concept can be literally applied to anything. So if you apply this concept to environment, it becomes environmental sustainability, which simply means that you use resources of the environment in a more conscious way. So for example, you use resources like water and energy in a way that it do not hamper the needs of the future generation to have access to clean and fresh water and energy. So for example, instead of using non-renewable resources like fossil fuels, which are going to deplete in a few years to come, you switch to more renewable resources like solar or wind energy. Now, when you apply the same concept to social lifestyle, it gets transformed into social sustainability. So what does social sustainability means? It simply means that having a more inclusive and diverse social life. So it can mean providing education to everyone, providing equal job opportunities to everyone, having fair wages at workplaces irrespective of anyone's background or gender, as well as creating safe working environment. Now, when the same concept is applied to the economic system, it becomes economic sustainability, such as having an economic system which promotes growth for everyone. So, a simple example could be promoting local businesses which help the local community to grow and develop. Now, when you apply the same concept of sustainability to your personal finances, it can turn into financial sustainability. So, for example, if you receive a salary of say 100 rupees a month and you plan your budget in a way that all your needs are being met in a very comfortable manner, but at the same time you save or invest some portion of your salary so that in future, maybe if you're not receiving a salary for few months, you are still able to meet your needs for a certain amount of time till things get better. So sustainability is everywhere and can be applied to any type of systems or concepts. So now that we know what sustainability is, let's understand what ESG is. So ESG is a tool or a framework which businesses use to measure the impact of their performance on the three important pillars that are environment, social, and governance. So the environmental pillar measures the impact of the company's performance on the environment, such as measuring the GHG emissions, the usage of water, the waste generated in operations, the total energy used during operations, and the total energy conserved due to energy efficient measures implemented. Now the social pillar talks about how the company treats people. So this can include its own employees, the communities where it operates, as well as its customers. So it means that, are they paying fair wages to their employees? Are they creating a safe and inclusive working environment for their employees? Are they taking into consideration what impact the company's operations have on the communities where it is operating, as well as are its products fulfilling the demands or the expectations from its customers? Now, the last pillar of governance talks about how a company is run. So, is the company taking ethical decisions? Are its leaders taking accountability of the decisions of the company? So, it also makes sure that the company or its people are not involved into any unethical practices like corruption or bribery. All of these factors are measured into the pillar of governance. So broadly, sustainability is creating a balance, and ESG is a tool or a framework to measure the impact of the balance created, and especially used in the corporate or the business world. So now that we know what sustainability and ESG is, and that they are interconnected and they are mostly used to create a long-term resilient world for the people and the planet, let's now discuss about a few important principles or concepts which are common between ESG and sustainability. Now, the first concept is about focusing on the triple bottom line, that is, of people, planet, and prosperity, which is also known as the 3Ps approach. So, here, any decision that you take has to benefit the 3Ps, that is, the people, planet, and prosperity. Now, if you take an example from sustainability point of view, say if you create more urban green spaces within your city, it helps your people by having more green and community spaces, it helps the planet by reducing pollution, and it helps the overall prosperity of the area by having a community which is free from diseases. Now, if you take the same example from an ESG or business perspective, you can have example like reducing waste in your manufacturing operations. Now, this will benefit the people in your organization because they will have less amount of waste to deal with. It will again benefit the environment because there is less amount of waste going to the dump yards, and it will help in the overall prosperity of the company because now your cost on waste processing and transporting the waste is reduced. So this way you are benefiting the 3P approach. Now the next concept is about long-term thinking. Both ESG and sustainability emphasize on taking decisions that would benefit the future generation. So for example, from a sustainability point of view, you might switch from single-use plastic to a more biodegradable solution, or maybe to having reusable cloth bags. Now this would simply mean that it is benefiting the future generation as it is reducing marine pollution as well as land pollution. Now, if you talk from an ESG or business perspective, a business would switch from having its energy from fossil fuel based sources to more renewable sources, as this would reduce the long-term environmental risk for the company of having continuous flow of energy in the future, and would also be an attractive choice for investors who are looking for long-term sustainable companies. Now, the next common approach is the data-driven approach. Now, ESG and sustainability both are heavily reliant on data, and both encourage metrics and measurement. So taking a sustainability perspective, you need to measure the health impact on the people belonging to a certain region. You might measure the air quality of a city or a region. And from a business perspective, you might measure the GHG emissions of your operations, the amount of water used in your operations, etc. And now both of these concepts, ESG and sustainability, encourage to improve the data year on year. The next concept is about addressing global challenges. Both ESG and sustainability are driven towards solving larger global challenges such as climate change, biodiversity loss, having fair wages for everyone, having equitable work environment and workspaces, solving global supply chain problems and operation issues, as well as conservation of resources like fresh water and fresh air. And last but not the least, both ESG and sustainability talks about creating value for stakeholders. So for example, from a sustainability point of view, a farmer might switch from regular farming to organic farming so as to fulfill the growing demand for organic products from its customers. Whereas from a business perspective, a business might have programs running within the company to attract and retain top talent so as to improve the functioning of the company for the better. So all of these common concepts between ESG and sustainability are catered towards creating a more balanced environment for the future. So now that we know what is the overlap between sustainability and ESG, let us now understand what is the difference between the scope, applicability and focus of these two concepts. Now, the scope of sustainability and ESG can be very different. Now, sustainability is a very vast concept where it takes into consideration individual, city, region, company, or an entire continent or the whole world. So, for example, if an individual takes the decision of abandoning single-use products in his life and transitioning to more reusable products in his day-to-day life, it is an example of sustainability. But at the same time, if a continent like Europe talks about going carbon neutral by 2050, it also falls into the scope of sustainability. But when we talk about ESG is a bit more on the micro scale, where companies talk about its non-financial risks and opportunities so that investors can take a well-informed decision while investing into the company. Now, the applicability of sustainability and ESG can also differ very largely. So the applicability of sustainability can be about implementing the UN Sustainable Development Goals or taking about rural awareness programs to reduce poverty or environmental degradation in a particular village. Whereas the applicability of ESG can be more limited to a business where the business takes goals or targets to achieve its sustainability related or non-financial related goals and targets in the future. Now, the purpose of the two also largely differ. While sustainability talks about creating a more balanced ecosystem, ESG is driven by financial and strategic goals for a business to avoid and mitigate certain types of risks that it might face in the future. Now, the decision making in sustainability and ESG can also largely differ. So, in sustainability, there could be a push from the government to reduce the pollution of air or water, whereas in ESG, investors might have a push towards investing in companies which are more prepared to face and mitigate environmental risks in the future. Now, here up on the screen, there are different points on which ESG and sustainability differ from each other. Now, to sum it up, sustainability talks about creating impact for the society in general. So, this can be individuals taking decisions such as using public transport over private vehicles to reduce their GHG footprint or simply to have a more healthier lifestyle choice. Whereas ESG talks more from a business perspective, wherein businesses are trying to be more resilient from environmental and non-finance related risks that might arise in the future. So that's all from my side for today. Now it's your turn. Let me know in the comment section below what are your thoughts on ESG and sustainability and what are the sustainable steps that you have taken in your life. Hit like button if you found this video insightful and subscribe to Gen Sustainable. And while we might be back soon with more sustainability and ESG related concepts to break down easy for you, I want all of y'all to stay impactful, stay green, stay Gen Sustainable. Bye bye. Like, share, comment, subscribe.